The house stood beneath a blazing summer sun, a place of fresh starts for the Thompson family. It was a picturesque Victorian home, its intricate details glowing in the sunlight, promising a new chapter in their lives. John, Sarah and their daughter Emma had left the bustling city for the quiet, tree-lined streets of suburban Ashwood Lane. They were eager to embrace the tranquility and slower pace of life that their new neighborhood offered.
Our new home is a charming two-story Victorian, full of character and history. Its faded brick facade hints at a rich history, whispering tales of the past through its weathered walls.
The house sat upon an acre of overgrown land, yearning for attention. The garden, once a masterpiece, was now a wild tangle of greenery, waiting to be tamed. But the most intriguing feature lay hidden at the back of that property, concealed by the overgrowth. It was an old in-ground pool, its turquoise waters shimmering through a tangle of weeds. The pool seemed to hold secrets of its own, inviting yet mysterious.
I see it as a project, a chance to restore a piece of the past. It's an opportunity to bring new life to something forgotten.
I can already picture lazy afternoons by the water's edge, the sun warming our faces as we relax and unwind.
Emma felt a strange pull towards the pool, a mix of curiosity and unease. It was as if the pool was calling to her, whispering secrets only she could hear. John wasted no time in draining the stagnant water and debris. He was determined to restore the pool to its former glory.
As the murky water receded, cracks and imperfections in the pool's surface became visible. It was clear that the restoration would be a challenging task.
With each passing day, the restoration moved forward, but so did Emma's unsettling feeling. The house and pool were transforming, yet something intangible lingered in the air. The pool, once hidden beneath grime, was now a constant presence in their lives. It had become a symbol of their new beginning, yet it held an air of mystery that none of them could quite shake. The pool was finally full, sunlight dancing across its newly cleaned surface. John beamed with pride, his vision brought to life. Sarah smiled, picturing family barbecues and pool parties, but Emma couldn't shake the feeling of unease.
The whispers started subtly, a faint rustling sound carried on the breeze. At first, I dismissed it as the wind playing tricks on me. But as days turned into nights, the whispers grew louder, more insistent. They seemed to emanate from the pool, beckoning me closer.
Sleep offered no escape. Emma's dreams were haunted by shadowy figures gliding beneath the water.
One night, unable to bear the torment, I crept downstairs to the deserted pool. The moon cast an eerie glow upon the still water. As I peered into the depths, I could have sworn I saw a face staring back at me.
Emma tried to confide in her parents, but they dismissed her fears as an overactive imagination. But Emma knew deep down that something was terribly wrong. Emma's nightmares worsened, the whispers transforming into chilling screams. Each night she woke up in a cold sweat, her sheets twisted around her.
One night, driven by terror, I sought refuge in my parents' room. I found my mother fast asleep, her face etched with worry. I hesitated, wanting to confess my fears, but the words refused to come.
As Emma turned to leave, she noticed a drawing on her mother's bedside table. It depicted a swimming pool and a figure floating in the water.
My gaze fell upon a name scrawled across the top of the page, Momo. I had seen that name before, whispered in the dead of night.
Fear gave way to determination. Emma was done being afraid. She would uncover the truth behind Momo, the haunting drawings and the chilling whispers.
I owed it to myself and my family to break free from this nightmare.
Emma's resolve hardened. She would face whatever darkness lay ahead. The time for fear was over. The next day, Emma decided to explore the attic, a place she had always been curious about but never had the courage to enter. It was a cavernous space filled with the discarded belongings of previous occupants, each item telling a story of its own.
As I made my way through the labyrinth of forgotten treasures, I stumbled upon an old wooden chest, half hidden under a dusty sheet. It was ornately carved with strange symbols that sent a shiver down my spine, symbols that seemed to pulse with an eerie energy.
The chest was locked, but Emma managed to pry it open with a rusty screwdriver she found nearby, her heart pounding with anticipation. Inside, she discovered a treasure trove of secrets, old photographs, faded letters, and a leather-bound journal that seemed to hold the weight of many untold stories.
As I began to read, my blood ran cold. The words on the pages were filled with fear and desperation. The journal belonged to the previous owner, Amelia, who wrote of her fascination with Japanese folklore, particularly the legend of a malevolent spirit named Momo, a spirit said to haunt those who dared to uncover its secrets.
Amelia described strange occurrences in the house, whispers in the night and chilling nightmares that left her sleepless and terrified.
Amelia's entries grew increasingly desperate as she detailed her descent into madness, her handwriting becoming more frantic and erratic with each passing day.
The final entry ended abruptly, leaving Emma with a sense of dread and 1,000 questions swirling in her mind. What had become of Amelia? The mystery gnawed at her, refusing to let her rest. Emma knew she had to find out. She couldn't leave the attic without uncovering the truth behind Amelia's fate and the secrets that lay hidden in the shadows. Emma devoured the journal's contents, her mind racing with every word she read. The more she learned, the more her curiosity and fear grew. She learned that Momo was a vengeful spirit, often depicted as a grotesque woman with long black hair and a wide, unsettling grin. The legend spoke of her haunting those who dared to uncover her story.
Amelia's journal mentioned a ritual, a way to appease Momo and break free from her grasp. The instructions were cryptic, filled with warnings and dire consequences. But the ritual was dangerous, requiring a sacrifice of blood and bone. The thought of it sent chills down Emma's spine, yet she knew it was her only hope.
As Emma delved deeper into the legend, she realized that Momo was drawn to places of sorrow and despair. The more she read, the more she understood the malevolent force she was up against. The pool, with its tragic history, had become a beacon for the malevolent entity. It was a place where many had met their end, and now it called to Emma.
I gathered the items required for the ritual, my hands trembling as I prepared to face the unknown. Each item held a dark significance, a piece of the puzzle to appease Momo.
Nightfall approached, casting long shadows across the lawn. The air grew colder and the sense of foreboding deepened. Emma made her way to the pool, her heart pounding with each step. The silence around her was deafening, broken only by the sound of her own breathing. The water was eerily still, reflecting the darkening sky. It was as if the pool itself was holding its breath, waiting for what was to come.
As I began the ritual, chanting the ancient words, a cold wind whipped around me. The air seemed to vibrate with an unseen energy, making my skin prickle.
The air crackled with unseen energy, as if the very walls of the house were watching. Shadows seemed to move on their own, adding to the eerie atmosphere. Emma steeled herself for what was to come. She knew that this night would change everything, and she had to be ready for whatever Momo had in store. The air grew heavy, thick with an oppressive dread. The water in the pool began to churn, a swirling vortex of darkness forming in its center.
Her long black hair hung like seaweed, around a face both grotesque and alluring. Her eyes, wide and bulging, seemed to pierce through me. A cruel smile stretched across her pale lips, revealing rows of razor-sharp teeth. Terror threatened to overwhelm me, but I stood my ground.
With a trembling hand, Emma held aloft the sacrificial offering, her voice barely a whisper as she completed the ritual. Momo's eyes burned with a malevolent fire.
Ear-splitting shriek.
She lunged at Emma, but an invisible barrier held her at bay. The air crackled with energy as the ritual reached its climax. Momo let out an ear-splitting shriek before she was sucked back into the swirling vortex of water. Emma collapsed to her knees, her body trembling with exhaustion and terror. The following days were a blur. Emma told her parents everything, the nightmares, the journal, the confrontation with Momo. To her surprise, they believed her.
We decided to leave the house, to put as much distance between ourselves and the horrors we had experienced as possible.
As they packed their belongings, a sense of unease hung heavy in the air. Emma couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. On their last night in the house, Emma woke to a familiar sound, whispering. It seemed to be coming from the pool. She crept downstairs and peered out the window. The surface of the water was still, undisturbed.
As I watched, a single word bubbled up from the depths. Momo.
Emma's blood ran cold. She knew then that some evils never truly die. They linger in the shadows, waiting for the opportune moment to resurface. And as she turned away from the pool, a chilling certainty settled in her heart. Momo would be waiting.